This is a video for how to go about using the loft command and the offset plane command in Fusion 360. In order to loft, we need sketches on different planes to loft between. So in order to start our loft, we're going to need to define some planes. We're going to go up to construct and we're going to go to offset plane. And we're going to find for ourselves a plane. In this case, we're going to use the YZ plane, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag off. And what we're going to do is say, about 1.5 inches in this case. I'm going to go 1.5 and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to go to offset plane again. I'm going to click on this plane and we're going to offset several planes. So I'm going to go to 1.5 on this one as well and hit enter. Theoretically speaking, you could offset planes into infinity if you wanted to. But just for the sake of this video, we're just going to have 3 planes. I'm going to click on create sketch. I'm going to click on our original plane right here. And on this plane, we're going to just draw for ourselves a circle. We want to make sure that, we try to find the midpoint of our square. If we come around here, you can notice this pretty perfectly is, setting right here on, the 1 inch by 1 inch area, but I'm just going to draw for myself a circle somewhere in here. We could get specific, but just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to go about dimensioning to the center point or anything. And I'm going to go to finish sketch. And you're going to notice that we now have ourselves a circle right here on this plane that kind of turns invisible because it is one of the origin planes. We're going to go to sketch and we're going to click on the second plane that we created, which is this offset plane. And I want to hit P for project geometry on my keyboard, and we're going to project the center point of that circle onto that plane. When I click on the house button, you can see it's been projected on here. Now, we could say that we just now have this, but we want to use the center point of it for drawing other geometry. So I'm going to go to create. I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to go to center rectangle. And I'm going to click in the origin here in the middle, and I'm going to drag out until we have, let's go 1 tab 1, a 1 by 1 square. And we're going to go to finish sketch. We have a circle on one plane, a square on another. And now we're going to come out to our next plane. We're going to go to create sketch, click on that plane. And let's go to P for project geometry again. We want that center point. We just want to make sure all this lines up on the same center point, or the same imaginary spine, if you will, the same imaginary axis that runs down through the middle. We're going to go to create, go to polygon, and I'm going to go to circumscribed polygon. And I'm going to click on our center point. I'm going to drag out, and I'm going to hit 3 because I want an equilateral triangle. I actually hit 6. Whoops. I'm going to hit let's go to 3. I don't want this. Oh, that's your diameter. Let's go 1. Excuse me, I got ahead of myself. Let's go 1. I'm hit tab, and I'm going to go to 3. All we want is a triangle right here, an equilateral triangle. Let's hit Shift Tab to go back. Remember, I can hit Tab to go forward and hold down Shift and hit Tab to go back. Let's go 0.5. And let's change it to this shape, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Enter. We now have for ourselves our equilateral triangle that is 0.5 from the center out to the edge. We're going to go to Finish Sketch. We're going to go to Create, and we're going to go to Loft. And it's going to ask us for profiles. This profile is our first profile. Our second profile will be 2 different sketches here because there's one on the outside, one on the inside. And then our last is our triangle. And you're going to see how this is going to loft up into this triangle, kind of like a vase shape. And we're going to say OK. Click on my house button. You have this kind of, morphing object. These can kind of look like vacuum cleaner attachments at times. These can look like vases for flowers at times. But when you have any original shape that will morph into a larger form or a smaller form, you're going to use a loft command. If you are using like vacuum cleaner attachments, you go from a large circle from the hose, and generally it'll go down to a much smaller shape in order to, let's say, do the suction out of the couch cushions and things like that. So you can go in and you could shell out the middle of the object. I click on this surface here and say, I want to shell out this. Let's see what kind of a shell, thickness we can get. I'm going to say OK, and we now have ourselves a vase. Kind of nice looking. But this is how you get these kind of, I don't want to say bizarre shapes, but these are not normal surfaces. You're looking at 90-degree angle surfaces that are normal, rectangles and, blocks and things. This is how we kind of start to get into creating shapes that have an offset distance, and you're taking one shape and meeting another shape out into space. So this has been a video on how to go about offsetting planes, creating sketches on those planes, and how to loft in Fusion 360.